6 of Spotify's top 50 trending songs in the US were fully AI-generated. Nearly 40% of all music uploaded to streaming platforms every single day is now made by machines, not people, and most listeners cannot tell the difference. Today, I'm going to walk you through what this means for the music business, for creators, and for anyone building products or strategies around audio content. Here is what is actually happening. Tools like Suno and Udio now let anyone generate a complete, polished track in seconds. The output is good enough that in one study only 3% of respondents could reliably distinguish AI music from human-made music. The results a flood. Deezer reports that more than 39% of tracks it receives daily are AI-generated. Spotify's numbers are likely comparable, and these tracks are not just sitting in a corner. Artists like Scarly 2 and Aventhus, both entirely AI-generated, have racked up millions of streams without most listeners suspecting a thing. The economic projections are stark. A landmark CISAC study, the first global analysis of AI's economic impact on creators, estimates that by 2028, music creators will lose 24% of their revenues to generative AI. That is a cumulative loss of 10 billion euros over 5 years. Meanwhile, the AI music market is projected to explode from around 3 billion euros today to 64 billion by 2028. The money is not disappearing, it is transferring from human creators to the tech companies building these tools. AI-generated music is expected to account for 20% of streaming platform revenues and 60% of music library revenues by 2028. Now, why should you care if you are not a musician? Think about 3 concrete scenarios. First, if you run a business that licenses background music for ads, videos, retail spaces or apps, the cost of that music is about to collapse. AI tools can produce unlimited royalty-free tracks for a fraction of what a human composer charges. That is a real budget opportunity. Second, if you work at a streaming platform, a distributor, or a label, your entire revenue model is being restructured. The per-stream payout pool is being diluted by a torrent of zero-cost AI content, which means every human artist on your roster earns less per play. Third, if you are in marketing or brand partnerships, the authenticity signal of music is shifting. A survey of 144 music supervisors, filmmakers, and advertisers found that 97% want to know whether a track is AI-generated, and 49% will only work with human-made music. Verified human creativity is becoming a premium differentiator. But the risks here are serious and they deserve a clear-eyed look. Fraud is the most immediate problem. As one label executive put it, some people create music with bots, have it played by bots, and all of this takes up market share in a system that is already complicated. Distributors have a direct financial incentive to look the other way because they get paid based on volume. Nearly half the tracks one distributor sends to major platforms are flagged as AI-generated. The system is leaking. Beyond fraud, there's the cultural homogenization problem. Current AI models are trained overwhelmingly on Western pop, rock, and classical music. Researchers at the University of the Arts London warn that as these tools embed themselves in workflows, they push creators toward an average mainstream sound, eroding the diversity of global musical traditions. And legally, we are in a gray zone. Most generative AI models were trained on copyrighted works without authorization. Lawsuits from Sony, Universal, and collective rights organizations are ongoing, but there is no settled framework in Europe or the US. Regulatory uncertainty is high. So, what should you actually do in the next 30 days? 1. Audit your music supply chain. If your company licenses music, ask your providers whether their catalogs include AI-generated tracks and demand transparency on labeling. 2. If you operate a platform or distribute content, implement AI detection tooling now. Commercially available detection tools already exist, and the reputational cost of being caught distributing fraudulent streams will only grow. 3. If you are a creator or manage creators, start building provenance into your workflow. Metadata that certifies human authorship is going to become a competitive asset, not a bureaucratic checkbox. 4. Track the regulatory landscape. The EU AI Act, pending copyright reform proposals, and cases like Sony versus Suno will set the rules for the next decade. If your business model touches music or audio content, you need legal counsel monitoring these developments. 5. Test generative AI music tools yourself. Not to replace your team, but to understand the capabilities and limits firsthand. You cannot make strategic decisions about a technology you have never used. The bottom line is this: AI-generated music is not a future scenario, it is already reshaping who gets paid, what gets heard, and how trust works across the entire audio industry. If you found this breakdown useful, subscribe to AI Blueprint so you do not miss the next one.